Have you ever had that sinking feeling where your account balance is running dangerously thin, the paychecks seem to just vanish into thin air, and building real wealth feels like something that only ever happens to other people? Well, if you're living paycheck to paycheck right now and feeling completely stretched thin, I really want you to listen closely. Because here's the secret. The people who end up wealthy almost never looked wealthy 5 years before it actually happened. Honestly, they looked exactly like you look right now. What separated them was entirely invisible. It lived quietly in their daily choices.
Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here with us today. We are going to uncover the 13 invisible signs you'll be wealthy in 5 years, even if you feel completely broke right now. And the best part? These aren't special talents you have to be born with. They are highly specific choices, and you can literally install every single one of them starting today on the exact income you currently earn. Let's see how many of these signs you might already have sitting quietly in your daily routine.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Our blueprint to get you from chaos to calm is broken down into 5 phases: awareness and automation, building the buffer, the growth engine, the long game, and finally, starting messy.
Starting with phase 1, awareness and automation. This is all about laying that unseen foundation.
A massive sign of the future wealthy is that they actively make their money invisible to themselves, and they know exactly what their baseline numbers are. Take Otis, for example. He spent his entire 20s feeling like his cash was just evaporating, but when he finally sat down and measured his leaks, he found a massive stack of forgotten subscriptions draining his accounts every single month. You see, you just can't steer what you refuse to look at. And once you do look, you absolutely have to use friction, not willpower, to save. Think of willpower like a battery that drains steadily all day long. By 11 p.m., your tired brain is absolutely going to make those impulse purchases. But if you put friction between you and your savings, like keeping it at a completely different bank, well, that friction never gets tired.
And that friction leads us perfectly into another crucial sign: automating before you even feel ready. The future wealthy completely flip the normal order of operations. Money lands in checking, and boom, an automatic transfer instantly moves a slice to savings before a single bill gets paid. They do not wait for the perfect moment. Tamsin earned a really modest income and felt broke for years, so she just set up a single automatic transfer for the morning after payday. It was so small she barely even felt it. Fast forward 2 years and she had built a massive cushion out of money she definitely would have spent otherwise. Honestly, waiting for a clean, easy month to start saving is like waiting for a day with no weather. It's just not coming.
Moving on to phase 2, building the buffer. This is where we create a literal wall between you and chaos.
And this brilliantly illustrates why that wall is absolutely crucial. As of early 2026, a staggering 43% of Americans said they could not cover a $1,000 emergency from their savings. When the car transmission dies or the water heater quits, for most folks, that brings a wave of total dread and a credit card swiped in a complete panic. But for a woman named Pearl who kept just a small automated buffer and a strict do not touch account, a broken transmission was just a mild annoyance. Let that sink in. That distance between sheer dread and mild annoyance is the entire game. If a surprise expense just annoys you instead of terrifies you, that is a massive sign you're on the path to wealth.
But what happens when chaos has already breached those walls? Right now, 33% of Americans carry more credit card debt than emergency savings. Listen, if you're paying 20% or more on credit card debt, the math is quietly running backward on you every single day. It's a literal financial fire. You simply cannot out-earn a leak that large. It's going to outrun your paycheck every single time. Take Marguerite. She used to accept carrying a balance as totally normal, right up until she actually did the math on the interest. The sheer cost triggered this incredibly urgent 11-month mission to completely kill her balance, and she never let it return. Bad debt should genuinely unsettle you.
All right, phase 3, the growth engine. Time to go on the offensive by earning more, keeping more, and capturing free money.
A glaring sign of the future wealthy is that they literally never walk past free money. Let's look at the most common employer retirement match. Step 1, you put in $1. Step 2, your employer puts in 50 cents. Step 3, you just got an instant, guaranteed return that absolutely no stock on earth can promise you. Edwin ignored this for years because he thought it was, too complicated. But after a quick 2-minute chat over lunch with a coworker, it hit him. He had effectively been declining a free raise his entire career. Grabbing that match first before trying anything fancy is exactly how the wealthy operate.
And speaking of incredibly easy returns, we have to talk about the lazy money trap. Picture 2 people, both with $25,000 sitting in savings. One is being robbed blind by inflation, and the other is quietly earning real cash. Major big banks pay around 0.01% right now. That yields a truly pathetic $95 a year on that $25K. But an ordinary, government-insured, high-yield savings account paying around 4%, that hands you roughly $1,100 a year for doing absolutely nothing. Quentin let his money sleep in a big bank for a decade until he finally took a weekend to do a simple chore and move it. It's the exact same risk, the exact same money, but one choice quietly hands you an extra $1,000. Future wealthy people are completely allergic to lazy money.
Now, what's really interesting about this next concept is that it's the ultimate test of who actually gets rich versus who just looks rich. Enter the lifestyle creep test. When Hector gets a raise, he instantly goes out and buys a nicer car or upgrades his apartment. He feels permanently stretched because his lifestyle inflates right alongside every single raise. But Delilah, she keeps her lifestyle perfectly flat even when she brings home more money. That creates this beautiful widening gap between what she earns and what she spends. Nobody gets wealthy just from the size of their paycheck. They get wealthy from the size of that gap.
But hey, we obviously can't ignore the paycheck entirely. There is a very hard ceiling on how much you can actually cut from a budget, right? But there is no ceiling whatsoever on how much you can earn. Experts in 2026 are super clear on this. You succeed far more by growing your income than by hunting around for tiny expenses to trim. Noah felt completely stuck on a stagnant salary. Instead of obsessing over grocery coupons, she spent a year quietly building a new skill, changed jobs, and landed a massive raise. That new income poured fuel on all her other automated savings habits. Treating your own earning power as an asset is the ultimate lever.
Which brings us to phase 4, the long game. Thinking in decades and, honestly, buying boring.
The really loud version of investing is chasing hot stocks and crypto. You know, the kind of stuff you brag about at dinner parties. But the future wealthy do something embarrassingly dull. They buy boring on purpose. They just buy broad, low-cost index funds every single month, like clockwork. Ronan learned this the expensive way. He lost money on exciting bets for 2 whole years before quietly switching to buying the exact same unremarkable fund every month. And his results? They skyrocketed. If your portfolio is calm and a little dull, you've stopped trying to feel clever and you've finally started trying to actually win.
And how do you win? By thinking in decades. Historically, the S&P 500 has returned roughly 10% a year on average. If you quietly set aside a modest amount, starting in year 1, and literally just leave it alone for 30 years, it compounds into an absolute fortune. If you wait 10 years to start, even if you earn way more money and save super aggressively later, you will likely never catch up to the early starter. Why? Because time is the one ingredient you cannot buy back at any price.
But there is a brutal twist here. While the market delivers around 10%, the average investor only earns about 2.9%. Crazy, right? Why does that happen? Because they panic. They buy when everyone is excited and sell when they get afraid. When the market drops, every human instinct screams at you to pull your money out. The future wealthy feel that exact same fear, but they stay boringly consistent. They keep their automatic contributions running, treating a steep drop like the whole market just went on sale. Remember, market downturns aren't malfunctions. They're simply the toll you agree to pay for long-term returns.
Finally, phase 5, starting messy. This is the ultimate sign that triggers all the rest.
So, the crucial point is this. The financially stuck are always waiting. They're waiting to earn more, waiting to feel fully ready, waiting to understand the market perfectly before they jump in. But that perfect moment is a complete mirage. Beatrice understood this perfectly. She made her first investment way before she had it all figured out. And the amount was so small it honestly felt like a joke to her. But it wasn't pointless, because it started the clock. You have to start messy. Open the account, make the embarrassing first transfer, and allow yourself to make beginner mistakes. Because the waiting itself slowly becomes your largest financial loss of all.
So let's do a quick rapid-fire recap. How many of these quiet habits do you actually practice when nobody is watching? Do you automate your savings? Are you just mildly annoyed by unexpected bills? Do you know your numbers and keep your cash in high-yield accounts? Have you fought off lifestyle creep? Are you capturing your employer match, buying boring index funds, and fiercely attacking bad debt? Can you stay consistent during a market drop while actively investing in your own skills? And most importantly, have you started?
Now, if you're wondering what the natural next step is to anchor all these exciting new habits, the source material points straight to bonds. They act as the calm, steady ground floor of any solid retirement plan. They really teach you how money can work for you without keeping you up at night with worry. Getting that base right makes everything else you build on top of it so much stronger.
If even a few of these 13 invisible signs describe how you're living right now, then the wealth hasn't arrived yet, but trust me, it is already quietly on its way to you. The signs always come first. The money simply follows. So I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Stop waiting for permission that is never coming. What is the one messy, slightly scary step you're going to take today to start your clock?